Hi, I'm Adam, KN6QGV with Bridgecom Systems, and welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything. Let's start by welcoming our members. Tim, welcome. KD2ONL. Howard, 2NMYH. We got Don Locks, VK1DON. Joseph, KO4EQC. Welcome, everyone. If anyone has any questions, we could start answering them. Oh, we get more people coming in. Welcome, everyone. If anyone has any questions, let's start firing away. Welcome. Anyone has any questions? What do I do with Bridgecom? I am a tech support and customer service representative. I handle everyone's calls and make sure you guys get the help you need. I also help design some systems and other things, and do a little bit of marketing. Anyone have any questions about our radios? Anyone need any help? All right, if no one has any questions, I'll just talk about our radios a little bit. First off, if you guys don't already know, our 878s and 578s are some of the best radios out on the market. They are actually considered to be the Cadillacs of radios. We have in our radios most of the features that people, where's the best spot to put the GPS for the Anytone mobile radio? The best spot would actually be closest to a window, so you actually get the most signal with your GPSs. The closer to a window it is, the better you'll actually get a signal. There could be a lot of interference when you have electrical in your house from electrical wires, networking, and things like that. So the closer to a window, the better signal you'll get with all the satellites. Thank you for that question. That was a great question. Will analog suffer under the expansion of DMR? No, analog will always be there. That is the base bone of everything, and DMR is actually getting built on top of those most of the time. So analog will always be there as a backup on, when DMR and other things aren't available, such as the internet. However, the internet does allow for other things like HF. With HF, we don't have the greatest frequencies, right? Greatest solar flares right now. So with that being that, it actually causes us to have bad reception. And a lot of people have gotten into DMR so they can get into those long range communications with people. However, now we are going to have some nice solar flares and other things with the sun, with the rotation around the sun right now. So we actually will see a big pickup in HF, which I'm actually very excited about. So that will be very exciting and bring a lot of analog back. Great question, Johan. Is it very difficult to program analog channels on the 868 from the keypad? Yes, there are limitations with the 868 with directly programming your radio from the keypad. You will have limitations. The 878 is actually a lot easier to do it, and you can do it from there. These are great questions, guys. Keep them coming. You're very welcome. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Licenses, DMR, our radios? I received my plug and play now. Now anxious to go ahead, go to analog. How do... you didn't finish the question, Johan. How do you do that? What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look up your local repeaters. The best way to do that is find your local repeaters, get in contact with those repeater owners, and get all the information so you can get the proper CTCSS or DCS codes if they have them, and that way you can actually connect to them and connect your radio. The best way would probably be through your CPS, so that way you can put them in there and actually make sure everything's in there correctly. Adam, would the same question of programming apply to the 878? Oh, what is the range of the hotspot? Okay, we'll go back to that one in a second. What is the, so we're going to this one. The 878 is actually a lot easier to program from the front. You can actually add the channel directly. You go new channel and then you set all the settings. I can actually show you guys how to do that. Let me turn on my radio here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to try and do this backwards here. We're going to come down to settings. Whoa. Channel settings, new channel. Now, it's going to automatically, as you see right here, it says 202 because that's the next channel available in my code plug. So I'm going to select OK. We could put a name here for the channel. I'll just do test. As you guys can see, confirm it. It's going to ask me what zone I want to put it into. So we could just select a zone. And now it's asking me what talk group I want, since I'm doing digital. If you wanted to, you can actually select analog before you put it in the channel, and then you can actually go to digital, use an analog one. So let me select that. And confirm to save. And there you go. Channel has been added to the zone. Let me go to the zone to show you. Let's see. I got to find the zone. I don't even remember what zone I put it in. I'll find it here in a second and show you the zone. I got to go through all my zones. I didn't even realize which one I put it in. Let's go to the next question. Someone said, what is the range of the hotspots? The hotspots ranges are actually not that far. They aren't amplified like repeaters. So you actually are very, very low power, and you can get them maybe like around your household, not much further than that. And you don't want to be transmitting on high power to your thing because you can send too much power to the device and actually damage it. So the range of the hotspot's probably close to, you know, your house, something like that. Russell Thomas, can you use any tone radios to also talk on GMRS if you have a dual license? Okay, this is one of those tricky questions. Technically, no, you are not allowed to use our radios for the frequencies. They do cover the frequency ranges, but as they are different parts, one being part 90, one being 95, one being 97, they all are different for what it is, and the GMRS actually is not allowed to be used on amateur radios. So as much as people do it, it is not technically legal. Great question there, though. Anyone else? Let's see. Do commercial variants offer channel announcements when turning the knob? That is a great question, and that would be more of a concern. Give me a second here. I'm looking something up. I think I'm not 100% sure on that one. It would probably be in your CPS settings somewhere if there was one of those announcements. I am looking in the CPS right now to actually see where this might be. And if anyone else knows the answer to this, please chime in. I'm not 100% sure on this one. I believe there may be. I'm not 100% sure, though. It would be somewhere here in all these settings, but not. I can't answer that one 100% sure. If you actually would like to call up our number, our main number, and you could ask to speak to me. Our number is 816-532-8451, and I will get you an answer for that. I will make sure I get you an answer for that. Rich, how do I change the background color of my hotspot, and what is the code for green? That is a great question. I'm actually going to pull up my hotspot here in a second. Give me a second here. All right. Come on, load. There we go. In your configuration, you'll come up here, Expert, CSS Tools. All of your colors are right here. You can change them right here. So the page color, banner, content, and you can always look up the HTML codes for them. So green specifically would be right here. Here's a number of greens. So you could just look them up. Here's another one, 008000. And you just put those numbers in as soon as this switches back. There we go. You just put those numbers right here, wherever it is, the letters and numbers. Hopefully that helps. Can I program a soft key for analog switch to digital mode? Are you talking about changing the actual mode from analog to digital on the channel? Can you please specify a little bit? Since many DMR users already use hotspots to tunnel through to BM, do you think it would at some point eliminate the need for use of transceivers? No, because no matter what, transceivers, pardon me, people always like that, having this device in their hand. You'll never get rid of this. As much as you can go to cell phones and other things, those rely on other networks. They're not always the greatest. Look at the R finders. They are good things, but they have a lot of problems. They're not the greatest. You get bad reception sometimes, and they do mainly rely on the 4G, 5G networks. So I do not see these ever going away. Handy talks, mobiles, base stations, stuff like that. I don't see them going away anytime in the near future, even though DMR is strictly digital, because you also have analog and you have other frequencies as well, not just DMR. You got DStar, you got YSF, you know, Fusion. So you also get, you know, Capacity Plus with Motorola. You got Apex with Motorola. So there's a lot out there, which is P25, by the way. There's a lot of different networks out there and other things. So I don't see them ever eliminating transceivers. I do see more software coming out, though, That is always a bonus. And new software is great because that just expands, you know, the data capabilities and other things of DMR, and that's what we want. You know, as amateurs, we are always looking to excel and you know, further the art. Great question. Mine, I'm actually not 100% sure what this brand was. I found it online somewhere, and it has the separation between UHF and VHF, so it's pre-tuned, and it works pretty well for what I do. I don't know the exact name. I could try and find it, but you can find these out up there all the time on the internet. There's a ton of them that are great out there. How can I program both VFO-A and VFO-B in the radio at the same time? I want to use A for analog and B for digital. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come over to your radio, and oops, on P2 for most radios, it might be different on your radio. You're going to push that, and that, as you see, we're on top, is over here. So now what we're going to do is if we push P1, goes to the bottom, and push P2, so there's this. Now when we're on P2, we can go menu, down to settings, channel set. Oops, trying to make sure I keep this in here. Channel type, digital. So now if I go back, my VFO-A is on analog and my VFO-B is on digital. I got the repeater out of range because there's some settings in there that I can't reach right now. Do you have a step-by-step setup process for APRS on the 578 UV3 Plus? I can't get mine working. Actually, that is a great question. If we could switch screens over to my computer, I will bring up the actual APRS settings so everyone can see these. Okay. Manual interval right here. I usually set these to like 3. And what this is that when you actually push to talk, that's going to actually manually set that off. If you want to set the beacon off automatically, here's your timer for how many seconds it goes. I like feet. I always keep my APRS display time to 15 seconds. Fixed beacon off. If you go on, it's going to set this location right here that you have set in this box. So I always use off, so I use my GPS. The APRS TX tone is really annoying, so I like to keep this off. So if you set your to call APAT81, I like to do -1 on my SSID. Put in my call sign. This right here is just an identifier, and I'll show you guys this in a second, how this works. This is just so you can identify your radio. So if you wanted, you could do -1. If you had 1, your second radio, -2, so on and so forth. I keep my handheld to 7. For the map location, I always do an ampersand. Make sure it says wide 1-2, comma wide 2-1. You can type whatever message you want here. We're going to make sure our transmit delay is 600. Phone off. These are set fine, 600. Power transmit, I always do turbo. And make sure it's set to wide. APRS is set to wideband, so that is a must. It must be set to wideband. Now, I check all these over here just to make sure all data gets passed along. You can select what data you'd like specifically. I pass all of them along. Now, for the analog frequency, we're going to set this to 144.3900. And then for here, we're going to go current channel, current slot, 310999. And this is for the US. So the 310 beginning is for the US. Find if you're in a different country, you got to find your starting code for it so we can actually do this. And this is a private call. So now we have just set up our basic settings here for APRS. If we come into our digital set, like a digital channel, you'll notice right here, first off, let me back out. If we go tools, options, make sure you have all these checked first, especially APRS right here. That's going to be what you need. Now, when we go into our channels, we have our APS reporting type. So if this is, since this is a digital channel, you can use analog. There is no difference. You can set analog here, APRS, start or end of transmission. I like to do end. And then analog reporting frequencies. These are all 8 frequencies you have there. We set the first one. So we're going to set it to 1 and hit OK. So now this channel, whenever you're on it, will broadcast your APRS. If you want it digital, we go digital here, turn it on for push to talk mode and set it to channel 1, hit OK. And now this channel is set for APRS. That should be setting your APRS to send out all of your APRS information. And it should show up like this. Give me a second while it loads. Here we go. Here I am. And if you notice on right here on the right where this red is, it says KN6 KGV-7. That's my reporting information from my radio. There you go. That's how you set up APRS. Can I program the up-down buttons on the Anytone 578 UV3 Plus to change the channels in the zone that I'm on? I don't know if you can actually change that middle one. Let me pull up the 578 real quick. Give me a sec while it loads. There we go. Optional settings. I guess it's doing another load. Give me a second while that loads. All right, under key functions, let's see. Knob lock, we want those off normally. I do not see a setting here where you can change that one. I will look into that a little more, see if maybe we can get that added as a feature. But as of right now, I do not see that as an option. Sometimes I want to contact my repeater, analog, sometimes Grandmeister. Can I program a soft key to toggle between these modes? You just change the channels, realistically. So if you're on a channel for, change your zone or have 2 channels in the zone and just change the channel from analog to Grandmeister. Or you could do 2 zones, 1 analog, 1 digital, have them on A and B. That also works. When radio is in scan mode and stops on an active station, how do I lock that frequency? Scan button does not hold the active frequency, but skips to another in the list. That actually is a setting here in, if we can actually switch screens, that would be a setting right here in VFO scan. Right here, if you can, actually, can we go full screen and maybe remove the message? In the bottom over here on my screen where the message is blocking right now, it says the VFO scan modes. You just have to change that to the proper mode. When scanning a signal, the radio will pause scanning for a while, then resume scanning. The scanning of the signal, when scanning a signal, the radio will pause scanning and then resume until the signal disappears 2 seconds later. And then when scanning a signal, the radio will stop scanning. So there are some scan modes, so you just have to set the proper one, and that's this drop down right here. Is it okay to reset my PiStar and the PiStar dashboard if talk group is too busy to disconnect with 4,000? Yeah. If you reset your PiStar, there's nothing going to be wrong with that. It just disconnects and reconnects to the dashboard or to Brandmeister or whatever network you're using. So that is a way. I understand sometimes it can be a little difficult to actually get that disconnect button sometimes on there when everyone is active on there. So yeah, that is another way you can do that. Just takes a little time. Both ways take a little bit of time, but that is one way. Yes. I have unsuccessfully added our analog frequencies for my area, but they do. Are there any specific things I need to be checking what I'm doing? So, yeah, you need. I would actually contact your local repeater owner, see what settings they have set, because not everyone updates all their information on Repeater Book or radioid.net or Radio Reference. A lot of these websites and people don't actually keep all their information up to date 100%. So there could be a setting that you have wrong. It could be a CTCSS or a DCS setting that you have incorrectly set. It could also be that you have your frequencies offset incorrectly. Could be going the opposite direction. Could come backwards. When I enter a talk group via the keypad, is there a way to be able to transmit from there when I key to that entered talk group, it goes back to the original talk group? Yes. Okay, so if we come over to my screen here, where is it? Digital function. Right here are your hold times. Group hold time, this is incoming. Private time, incoming. And this is when you manually dial. Or these actually are both incoming and outgoing, but this is a preset ones. These are when you manually dial. The first 4 settings here. So if you look at these, this is where I tell everyone to increase these times. They go from 1 second to 30 seconds, 30 minutes, and infinity. So I like to tell people at least 30 seconds. Some people like 30 minutes. It all depends on your preferences. But this is exactly where you will change that information and be able to stay on that talk group you key up rather than it switching automatically back to where you were at. I am having trouble on DMR programming on the hotspot. The DMR settings on the top PiStar program show green, but the second shows the other green or red or yellow. Any help? Yeah, if you're having the DMR network, so let me pull up my hotspot right here and go to my dashboard if you want to switch to my screen. If you guys see right here, this is what he's talking about, this being yellow, green, or red. This actually means that it's not communicating with the network. That could be one thing. One of the most common things is that on Brandmeister's network, people either A, don't have a password set in their care portal, which I will go over there and show you that right now, or B, they'd have a too complex of a password set over there. So what I like to tell people to do over here in your settings, let me log in real quick. Under services, in your self-care portal, make sure first off it's set to brand ETSI, Echo Tango Sierra India, right here. And then at the bottom right here, make sure you enter a password. I tell people use a PIN code, use a color, use something very easy because this is just for your hotspot. It's not like you could do a lot of things on the network. It's not like they have access to your account. And this will actually make it a lot easier to communicate between Brandmeister and your hotspot. So this is usually the #1 setting. It's the password or the brand up here is usually the reason why people have issues connecting to Brandmeister. Next question. I have an old XP laptop. Will there be drivers for it to allow the CPS to work on for the 878 or 578? Yeah, that's actually the standard FTDI drivers. You can get that from FTDI directly. We can also maybe provide a link in the what's it called, descriptions or something with it. We could probably get that there. Just so everyone is aware, at the end of this live stream, we will be posting this on YouTube and Facebook as well. So if anyone missed the first 20 minutes or so or anything, you can go back and watch that. So it will be available. Okay, Sonia, question. What is the purpose of the talk around simplex on this in the CPS? Talk around simplex is actually used more with analog than it is with digital. And the talk around simplex actually makes it so that you're not tying up a repeater and you can actually go direct one-to-one communication with another radio. It's very useful in the field, especially when you're close quarters with someone. And digital also has the same capabilities, but it requires a little bit more configuration for it to happen. But the purpose is mainly so you can talk to someone else close by or nearby and not tie up a repeater. That was a great question. Thank you. All right. Well, it seems like questions are coming down to the end. I'd like to thank everyone personally for coming. This is my first time ever doing a live stream. I hope I answered all of your guys' questions well. And I look forward to doing this again next week. So, please check in. Really appreciate everyone coming out and the support. And I hope everyone has a fantastic day.